So, welcome everybody to our second episode of the Finding Meiheal um, podcast. Meiheal being an Irish word that means community and connection. And the idea of this podcast really is about myself and Ray Power finding that community in Ireland that we know that exists. And as part of our podcast, we thought a fun, joyful way to find out about each person is to ask them six questions. So we thought it would be good today to find out Ray's answers to those six questions and what finding Meiheal means to him. So I welcome Ray. Lovely to see you.
Thanks, Charlie.
Um, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Up early as always.
Good
As
man.
always. Yeah,
Good to hear. It's always good to start the day early. Get the best
absolutely.
out of it. So yeah, if you're happy, Ray, we'll fire away with the question. So that first
Please.
question is, can you think of a funny childhood memory?
Oh wow, I have a million of them. One that stands out to mind. I was only talking to a good friend of mine yesterday. He's the same age as me, 48. Many years ago, back in the 80s, I remember his mum and his dad. His dad used to play traditional Irish music, so he would have had to travel a lot in the 80s for work. That was a normal thing to do in Ireland back then. And
Yeah,
while that was going on, he would have stayed in my house. Um, he would have stayed in my house for weeks and weeks on ends. And I remember my mother saying to us one day, I tell you, I'd need two chickens in this house to keep you going with eggs because we loved our eggs in the morning. Um, so I got a brainwave. There was a farm just not too far from us. And my mother was going off shopping that day. And I said, I'd surprise her. So myself and my friend, we went in and let's say we borrowed two chickens. Um, So we ran in around the farm and we were running after the chickens. And I got one, he got one. We brought it back to the house. And then we went back down and took a little bit of straw and a little bit of timber. And we made a lovely little chicken coop out in my garden. And lo and behold, my mum came home that evening. I said, Mum, I have a surprise for you. She said, What? I said, I got two chickens. She said, Sorry, I got two chickens. I opened the back door. And let's say she went through the roof and asked where we got them. And the easiest part was stealing the chickens, but trying to unsteal them was the hardest part. We had to bring back the chickens. And I had a sore behind with the slaps my mom gave me for taking the chickens. But it was just, I remember, it was just a phrase of words that she was using. I'd need two chickens. I thought I was helping my mother by getting her two, but unfortunately, no, it ended up with a bruised ass and a load of shouting and roaring. I got grounded and I had to unsteal the chickens and bring them back. That was the hardest part.
my one word response to that is hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love
It
that.
was funny. It was
Oh,
funny.
brilliant.
Innocent. Innocence.
Innocence. Innocence is another great word. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so, second one, Ray, have you got a quote that inspires you?
Yes, I do. I'd like to read it out for you if that's okay.
Please do.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Forgive yourself for not knowing early what only time could teach. Because the truth is, we can only understand certain things after we grow, after we go through life, and after time quietly teaches us what we once didn't know. Um, that resonates an awful lot with me. When I was going through my hard times with addiction, mental health, and um, when I left prison, I left the authentic version of Ray, let's say. My addiction was gone, my mental health was gone, and I was sitting with a lot of feelings and a lot of regret. And I had to do a lot of work with that. It is amazing sometimes when you're going through addiction how it actually numbs how you feel. And when I left prison, it all came flooding back. The hurt that I caused people, the hurt I caused myself, the missed years, the almost 10 years of my life lost to addiction and mental health. And I had to do an awful lot of work on that. And the one thing I remember a woman saying to me, said, Ray, you have to forgive yourself for stuff, that you did. And I found that very difficult at start, but over time, I started forgiving myself, and that's where I was set free from that then.
Mm.
And that's where the magic started to happen. I don't look back on my life now with regret. I look back at my life now as someone who was trying to live through chaos, and I came out the other side. So I'm very, very grateful for that. But forgiving ourselves as well is a very important thing.
Mm. Yeah, my one word response to that, Ray, is peace.
Peace, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank you.
that. So actually, you've already answered, but the next question was, what does forgiveness mean to you?
Yeah, forgiveness, it means everything because it's the foundation of, I suppose, moving on, forgiving people that hurt me. I've forgiven myself. Forgiveness is a huge thing, because I found very later on in life, even going through recovery, there's a lot of things happen. And when you forgive that person, you set yourself free. I always love the quote. Sometimes you forgive someone not because they deserve it, but because you deserve the peace.
Mm.
That's something I always say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Beautiful. That's my response. Beautiful.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Charlie.
yeah. Um, what are you grateful for right now?
I'm grateful for, that's a good question because a couple of weeks ago I was starting to get caught up in that. I'm not employed. I find it difficult to find a job with a criminal conviction. And the other day, this kind of dawned on me. I was driving um, home in my car, and I said, just flashed in my mind, Ray, I have a car. I'm driving home to my house. I'm going home to get some food. I'm going to have some dinner. I have a warm bed. I have everything, and
Mm,
that just dawned on me there. I have all the luxuries, even though I'm not working, I'm not employed, but I have things that so many people don't have. Um, do I have loads of money to live a different life? No, but I'm happy with this life. And I was glad that thought came to me at that moment because I was starting to get caught up and I'm not working. And I think for me, it's not financially, it's just something to be doing physically. But I'm grateful for the opportunity I have. I have love in my life. I have a partner that loves me. I love them back. I have kids. I have a home. Um, and maybe that's all we need.
mm.
Mm.
Yeah, the word that's coming to mind is acceptance.
Acceptance. Yeah, acceptance.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, lovely. Next question is, what does radical curiosity mean to you?
Uh, that's a difficult one. Uh, I was reading that. I actually don't have to answer that one.
That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't. It's not mastermind. It's not
yeah,
mastermind. So
yeah,
it's good to take questions sometimes just to explore them
yeah,
and think about them and how it maybe curiosity is a good thing in of itself, like this exploration. So yeah, that's it's not knowing an answer is great as well because, like I say, it means you can just have some time afterwards just to reflect and think
yeah,
about it.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so, so the other question is, what would you like your legacy to be when you die?
Hmm. I'd like to be remembered for the man I am now and not the person I used to be. Do you know, a lot of that I'm doing, sometimes I'd be reminded from my past, trying to navigate life with a criminal conviction. I've done an awful lot of amazing things in the last 7 years of my life that, please God, when I get to 80 or 90 years of age, I can look back at this part of my life and the 7 years previous, and I'll be very, very, very proud of all the beautiful things I've accomplished in life, going into prisons, talking to people, helping and supporting people with mental health and addiction. I would like to be remembered for someone that didn't have a great life, made mistakes, but turned it around. And I'd like to be a shining example for anyone that might be struggling in life.
Mm.
I'd like to be remembered for that.
So the word that's coming through is pride.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's lovely. Thanks for that, Ray.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Charlie. Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
so the other one that is more a sort of general thing, as that we came up with this term of finding meiheal. Don't even know if I pronounced it right, but it doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
that Irish word of community and things. So I kind of wondered how did that speaks to you? What that how that feels? What that sense of finding meiheal means? Or yeah,
Yeah. Well, it kind of every time I hear Meiheal, I think of my father because my father is Michael. You know, when I hear the name Meiheal, it brings me straight back. I suppose that I picture my dad's face, and um, yeah, you know, um, in that when I hear it, I wish that I had, I suppose, a proper um, relationship, I suppose, with my father. You know, one that I could be proud of and he could be proud of. Um, yeah, that's what it kind of reminds me of every time I hear it. You know, it was a bit ironic when you told me about what you were going to be calling the podcast. And I think there's little hidden messages in everything we do in recovery sometimes. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it's a very I suppose a personal name, and you know, I love my father. You know, did he get things right in life? No, he didn't. I'm a father too, but did I get things right in life? No, I didn't. You know, but that's what it reminds me of.
And because I want to discover more Irish words, but the one that I do know is graw. So it feels real graw with your dad that in what you
Yeah,
were sharing there. So I think that's really lovely. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Very, very. I suppose love and angry, disappointment, and love springs to mind. You know, when it comes to my dad. You know, and as I said, look, we're all parents, and there's no book to life saying this is how you do it. We learn by our mistakes, and you know, yeah, you know, it just brings me back to my dad. But you know, we're in a good place. Are we closer than I like? No, but you know, whatever it is at the moment, I accepted that because it's still good. You know,
yeah, lovely. Yeah.
yeah,
So thanks, Ray, for answering
no
those
problem.
questions.